remember when I told my father I was gay, probably when I was 18 or 19, and he told me that I couldn't be gay because I played football. And that wasn't lost on me, that I had really spent most of my life to that point in time studying all my straight friends and playing football, getting involved in student politics, hanging out with lots of girls, because then no one would think I was gay. And since I was quite athletic when I was younger, I avoided the abuse that most of my even straight friends who were not very athletic had to deal with. In my 20s, the AIDS epidemic hit. And by the time I was 30, I'd lost over 40 friends to AIDS. My friend Jim, who's dying of AIDS, grabbed me by the face one day, and he was very frail. He was a psychiatric nurse, a really courageous guy. And he said, look, in a week or two, I'm going to be dead. What are you doing with your life? I said, well, I want to be a parent. I'm totally interested. My studies are all in urban studies. I love city building. I want to see us have a health center to treat people with AIDS that's properly supported. I want to see human rights legislation for us. I want to see a parade. I want to see some cultural programs for us. I want us to be a community, and like any other, I want to be able to give back to my community without being marginalized. And he said, well, why aren't you doing that? And I said, well, because gay people don't get elected. There wasn't anyone who was really elected in Canada at that time, one guy in Montreal. Gay people can't be parents. No one's going to let me be a parent. And all the things I wanted to do with my life that were sort of kind of ordinary things that other people, my straight friends, were already planning on doing, at that time seemed impossible. And so he made me write it out, wrote out all the 5 things, and then he said, you have to promise me that you'll start doing those things. You've got to live your life for the people you love and the things you hope, not for the people you're afraid of and for the things you fear. And within 5 years, I had fought and become a parent. I think I was the first gay man to become a foster parent in Canada. I got elected to city council in a seemingly impossible situation. We got funding for our clinic. I led the fight with my friend Margie Cogill to get human rights legislation for gays and lesbians and people with disabilities in Manitoba at the time. I eventually went on to become mayor of the city, chair of the big city mayor's caucus. You sometimes lost the federal election by 1% of the vote against some pretty reactionary forces that I found very divisive, and I stood against and very proud. In some ways, I'm more proud of that election I lost than any other I fought. And then I came to Ontario to offer jobs. It was amazing to me as a gay guy who no one would go near for a career. I was being offered all kinds of jobs. And then finally, I got elected to to the provincial legislature just 6 months ago, and now in another province, I proudly serve as a member of the Liberal government of my friend Dalton McGuinty as his Minister of Research and Innovation. I think the most important thing I want to say to you is that there are many dark moments when you're young and it all seems hopeless, but the reason we have the rights we do in Canada is not because of the acts of politicians or important, powerful people. The reason we have the rights we do is because you and I and many others stopped saying they and them when we were talking about gay and lesbian people. We had the courage to say I and we and speak in the first person, even though we meant that would mean hostility, violence. We had the courage to be ourselves and to stand up for ourselves and for other people. And that changed the world. Once dozens of us, then hundreds of us, then thousands of us did that, there was no going back in the closet. We won elections people never thought we would win. We became labor leaders, great artists and business leaders. And we did that with just having the simple, quiet dignity to be ourselves and to have the self-confidence, which comes from a lot of tough experiences, to live in our own bodies, to not live for the people and things we fear, but to live for the people that we love and the things we hope.